Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning. How are you doing today? I hope you are always in a great condition in this pandemic COVID-19. Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you so much to the committee of Asia TEFL 2020, which is held in South Korea. Thank you so much who has given me this opportunity. I and my partner to be a part as the presenter in this great conference. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Aeni. I'm from Universitas Negeri Makassar, Indonesia. My teacher's interests are about English for specific purposes, ELT materials and development, and English oral communication apprehension. Well, in this research, I have a partner. My partner is Dr. Selvi Panggua. She's from Universitas Kristen Indonesia, Toraja. Her teacher's interest is about teacher professional development. Well, without any further ado, let me start my presentation entitled The Student's Perception and Lecture Response Towards the Maritime English Course Materials. Well, as the introduction, one factor that causes students to fail to learn English is the use of textbooks that are not fully relevant to the student's need. And one thing as the crucial part which influence that should take into account in developing the textbook is perception. Okay, as the background, like what I have said before, that one factor that causes students to fail to learn English is the use of textbooks that are not fully relevant to the student's need. The second, some researchers believe that course materials play a vital role in every learning condition and help teachers with their responsibilities. And then, to find out whether a course material is suitable for an English classroom or not, one should the course materials be revised and how. So, in the evaluation, one thing as the main part is perception, both the students and the teachers. Okay, as the objective of this research is to examine how are the students and the lecture perception toward the design materials for Maritime Academy. So there are three main study objectives over here. The first, to investigate the students' perception towards the Maritime English course materials. The second, to investigate the lecturer's response towards the Maritime English course materials, and to analyze the response and the efficacy of instructional materials and activities. As the literature review, according to Stephen 1997, perception is the process where individuals choose, arrange, interpret, and respond to the data from around the world. So it is a process of gathering and interpreting the sensory impression and giving meaning to their situation. So, according to O'Neill 1982, introduces 4 reasons for the use of course materials. But one thing as the reason why do we have to create a course material based on the students' needs, it's because the students need to learn based on their needs, and also their wants. So they will be really enthusiastic in learning. Well, there are some previous research findings related to this research, but I focus on Ahmadi and Duraksan 2016. They reviewed the evaluation of various textbooks which are conducted by TEFL teachers all over the world to find out their perception toward the strengths and the weakness of the textbook. What makes difference from this research with other research is the measurement of the level of the apprehension among the students as one predictor for the development of maritime English course materials, which was not previously conducted in the academy. In this case, the Indonesian Maritime Academy, IT Makassar. So that is something unique from this research. Okay, as the methodology, this research applied mixed method. The data obtained from the questionnaire about the students and the lecturers' perception on material design were scored by using Likert scale, and I and my partner, to support the data from the questionnaire, we conducted semi-interview to the students and the lecturers. So there were 20 students and 2 lecturers as the subject of this study. Here we go, the result and the discussion. So, students' perception towards the maritime English course materials. We can see from the slide that most students were in the positive and strongly positive position. There were no students who stated negative statement regarding the use of materials designed by maritime English. Next, the lecturer's response towards the maritime English course materials. The content of the maritime English materials meet the level of capability of the students. The means we can see from the mean score of the lecturer's response is 95.3%. It is implied that the content, language, presentation, and overall graphics demonstrate suitability to both English material level and the students. So, we conducted the interviews with some students to draw their thoughts, their beliefs, observation, energy, weakness, and suggestion about the general course of maritime English. So, the example of the question, do you like learning maritime English course materials? Why or why not? So, 14 students say that they like it because it was fun and interesting. And 6 students conveyed that it was different from the previous materials because this maritime English gives more opportunities to speak. So that's the core point. The second, all the students say that yes, it was suitable with our educational background. 2 lecturers were consulted about the practicality, suitability, and effectiveness of maritime course materials. The first question, how do you think the practicality of the teaching maritime English? So, the maritime English covers all the language skills. It is great, but as the stakeholder expectation that speaking skills should be the priority. So you need to add more activities about speaking communicative exercises. So in the material design, we provided more opportunities and more exercise for speaking ability. And the second question, are the contents of maritime English course materials accurate for teaching English for maritime academy students? So the maritime English course materials make the classroom more enjoyable, and it led the students to be more enthusiastic to speak English. That is the response from the first lecturer. And the second lecture, the process of teaching and learning are more interesting, and the students have more attention to the materials. That's the response from the second lecture. As the conclusion and the implication, so in determining the level of effectiveness and practicality of the maritime English course materials, they can be assessed from the achievement of the learning objectives and the students through the questionnaire and semi-interview. The second, they had a positive response toward maritime English. It can be stated that the maritime English course materials are showing to be very effective in learning English. The result of the lecture response, dealing with the appropriateness of all the components, was very good. As the implication, it helps the teacher to achieve their goals and language classroom objectives. The teachers need to know to what extent are the course book appropriate for different classes with different number of the students and individual differences. Well, that is the end of our presentation. That's words full of wisdom that someone important said and can make the reader get inspired. So hopefully we can keep in touch, and when you have any question that you are going to give, please you can email us. This is my email, nuraini@unm.ac.id. And also the Facebook, we have Aeni Hunter and also Selvi Panggua. So feel free when you have a question. And thank you so much for your opportunity and your time. Hopefully you are always in a great and staying healthy. And I'm looking forward for your response and your question. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning.